What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video I wanted to share my experience trading on the iPad for over the last 6 years. Hopefully this video will give you a better insight into what it's like to trade on the iPad and whether or not it's the device for you. So let's get into it. So once again, in today's video I'll be going over my favourite things about using the iPad for trading and as a device in general. So if we go back to when I picked up the iPad, it was never primarily for trading on. I bought it to study on alongside my laptop. When I bought it, apps like TradingView weren't great either, but over the years it has become a lot better and the experience has got closer to the web version. I think the best thing about the iPad Pro is how much of a solid overall device it is. Like, you can easily pick up a cheaper Android tablet, but you just know you will eventually start to see that lag and slow down. I've had this iPad for over 6 years now, like I said, and it's still yet to slow down. With all the updates and everything, it still hasn't really slowed down on me. I trade on it, I watch stuff on it, I use it to edit stuff like these videos. Battery still is great and so is performance. I can only imagine how good the M5s are. In my opinion, you cannot go wrong with the device, even if you get an older model like the M3, M2, M1, or like the one I have, which is a 2020, I believe it's the A13 Bionic or 14. And yeah, I don't even have the M1 and it still works perfectly there. It doesn't slow down, all the apps work perfectly. As great as the iPad is, it still has its limitations though, and in order to get a closer to a laptop experience you might be willing to spend more to get a keyboard. So if you're looking to buy an iPad for trading, let's take a look at some of the apps you may be using on the iPad. So the first one is TradingView. We all know what TradingView is. If you're a trader, you will do your technical analysis on there. If you're new, you might not know what it is. Well, it's the app that everyone uses for the technical analysis. And the app I use most on my iPad is definitely TradingView. I like to quickly view charts and see how the market's performing during the day. I mean, most of the time, once my analysis is done, I don't need to go on TradingView and analyze again. The only thing I really do is update the charts. Now, if you use TradingView as your main platform, the iPad is a great device. If you intend on opening up charts and analyzing them on the go, the iPad is great for that. However, it's still true that you should always do your analysis on the largest display possible, because it's easier to identify price history, trends, key levels, etc. You'll just find that it's easier to do your analysis. Like me personally, I do some analysis, but that's only when I'm updating my analysis on charts. But if I'm, starting from scratch, I will do it on my monitor, because I'll just be able to see the bigger picture and make a better decision. Another thing I would say is don't get the highest spec iPad to enjoy the trading on it. Yes, it will be slightly more enjoyable with a 120Hz display, but that won't be the reason your trade is performing well or not. You can do all your trading activity with an Air, or you even got the new one now. So yeah, you don't necessarily need the iPad Pro, but if it's going to be your your main device, maybe you can get Pro. But again, yeah, if you're going to use it alongside your laptop, you can definitely get a cheaper iPad. I wouldn't get the mini just because it's too small to be doing your trading on, but yeah, any other iPad you'll be fine. So next we have Trading 212. I believe everyone would have heard of Trading 212. You must have seen an ad on YouTube at some point, and if you haven't, well, it's Trading 212 is an app that you can trade on, invest stocks, ISAs. So yeah, I recently got into it and it's really easy to use. And in terms of trading on it, I don't really trade on it, I just use it to invest in stocks and ETFs, index funds. But yeah, once you invest, it's very easy to withdraw and deposit money. I like how smooth the process is, especially if you have a Monzo. It's almost instant. So yeah, if you don't know what it is, it's another app I use a lot. If you haven't checked it out already, I definitely recommend it. It's very beginner friendly, like I mentioned. Things like depositing money, withdrawing money, and transaction fees are great on Trading 212. I have used it personally. So if you do want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. The next app I use quite a bit is Substack. I mean, you may have heard of Substack. It's like a newsletter platform. It's now turned into more of a social media platform, the way people are using it. But yeah, essentially it's great for if you want to get some other insights on articles on the markets. Yeah, I just like to just read up on it every week and see what people are talking about. yeah, just getting a variety of insights really. And I think it's beneficial to have a different view on the market from different people, and Substack is great for that. I personally did have a newsletter which I haven't posted on in a while, but I might start posting again with my insights and updates on the market. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well, so if you want to follow that. The other app we all know about is MetaTrader 4 and 5. To be honest, I don't really use it on my iPad. I just prefer using it on my phone. It's just a lot easier, and my iPad's never in my pocket. So MetaTrader 4 I use for entering trades and closing trades. So I need to be able to access it wherever I am. With an iPad, obviously it is portable, but it's not going to be in your pocket, and well, your phone is just going to be the first thing that you grab if you see a news update. If the Fed interest rates are coming out and you need to get out of a position, the first thing you're going to do is grab your phone and close your position, because you don't want to be messing with that kind of volatility during the markets. So yeah, MetaTrader 4, I'd say you could definitely use it, and 5 on the iPad, but you got to think realistically. You're going to buy an iPad to use MetaTrader 4 on, or are you going to still use it on your phone more? So I wouldn't buy it primarily for that, but it's an option. So if that's something you was worried about, you can use it. So next you got accessories. When it comes to accessories, you can almost turn the iPad into a laptop with the Magic Keyboard. But if you want to do that, then you can just buy a laptop for the same price or cheaper. I personally did get the Magic Keyboard and Apple Pencil, but as great as it is, I still tend to use my MacBook more, just for the overall if there was one thing I grab to do everything, it would be the laptop. The iPad, it's got the keyboard, it's got the pencil, but again, it's just as much as Apple say it is like a laptop, it's not quite there yet, but it's very similar. So a lot of people in the comment section will be asking if the Apple Pencil is worth it. What is it like? It's a great experience. It is fun to chart with, but again, you have to think from the perspective, how long is it going to be fun for? Is it easier to use a trackpad on your Mac to just draw on your analysis, or are you going to be using a pencil every time? So you got to decide there. It is fun, I'll be honest. It does change up the experience when you're doing your technical analysis, but it's so much easier to just use a mouse or a trackpad, I'll be honest. And sometimes it's like the iPad doesn't respond in certain ways, and you're just like, okay, let me just grab my MacBook or my laptop. So yeah, that's one thing to consider. It is a great experience. So if you do want to experience using but again, you can use different styluses as well. You don't have to get an Apple Pencil just because it's like 2-3 times the price of other options. Other accessories like connecting mouses and keyboards, again, the experience is good, but sometimes it can have its like hiccups. Like if you connect a mouse, it might not respond when you're like trying to zoom in on like TradingView, or you're trying to like expand or like extend the chart. So you just have to use you end up using the screen. So yeah, that's one thing to consider. But yeah, the iPad overall is, I'll be honest, it depends on your situation, like I always say in every video. A lot of comments that say, should I buy this or should I buy that? Well, it depends. If you have a laptop and a desktop, then you can get an iPad. But if you don't have any of them, I'll tell you to get a laptop or a desktop first, because you're just going to have a lot more functionality with that device than you are going to have with the iPad. The iPad will still have it. It will be fun, but like I mentioned, if you want to do it, you want to be able to use the device for a variety of tasks, and you're definitely going to have more luck with the Mac or a desktop. 6 years later, the experience has been great. I'm still enjoying it 6 years later. It feels like the devices were picked up yesterday because of how efficiently they work, but I can only imagine what the M5 chips feel like when using them. I was literally just thinking about this, like these devices do not feel slow at all, so how quick could the M5s possibly be? But maybe I'll pick up the M5 soon, but at the moment don't intend on it because like I said, the M1 Mac Air works perfectly, and my A13 14 Bionic chip Mac iPad works perfectly as well. Yeah, I hope that kind of clarified things and made it a little bit easier for you to make a decision. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comment section what kind of content you want to see. If you want to see more MacBook content, do you want to see specific apps being used, or do you want to see more iPad content? Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.